Welcome, friends, to Chapter 3 of Tulip, the first book in the Secret of Earth series. The night was still young, and Tulip wasn't tired. She kept sliding along the ice with expert control. She had too much fun and didn't want to stop. She tried to create ice bridges. It was difficult at first, but soon she had mastered going 70 feet high and into the sky. Dawn had started to come, stretching her fingers of light rose out across the brightening sky. Tulip was ecstatic. Pinks and blues, purples and reds, and all other vivid colors were just like the sunset from the night before. She was thrilled about that day. She wanted to go back to the village. She wanted to show the townspeople what she was able to do, to tell them what she learned in the night. Show them the amazing things she was capable of doing. She was able to control coming in and out of ice. As she ran, she heard the thunder rumble in the distance. It was closing in on her. As she ran, she felt like she was being targeted by the cloudy hunter. She was hit by a bolt of lightning unexpectedly. Dazed, she got up. Tulip was tingling all over. She looked down at her attire, and they changed again. But this time, yellow. But not just yellow, no, other colors. She ran and ended up 10 feet from the previous spot in which she had been in. Ugh, she breathed. Lightning, a rose said. The rose was the same color as the other flowers. Calm and settling. But it's also known as electric. Thanks. Now I'm more powerful, right? Correct. Shocking. Once again, the flower didn't laugh. It just disappeared back into the earth. She started to run again. Tulip had more control of her new form quickly and practiced going in and out of it. She shot bolts of lightning everywhere with precision. She was indeed even more ecstatic than ever before. Tulip came upon a little town, a familiar little town. She was excited. She was going to be the town legend or something. A hero, maybe. Or even something cooler. She ran into the town, through the townspeople, and all the way to the town square. It wasn't even a far run. The town was quite small. Tulip stood straight and tall. She was going to turn ice first, she decided. But before she could, someone cried, "Thief!" as a man fled from the direction it was called. Tulip chased him. It wasn't hard to catch up to him. It was actually easier than Tulip anticipated. She tried to grab him, but he was just a little too squirmy and got away from her. She turned ice. She slid faster than him, catching him with some difficulty. She hadn't practiced grabbing things before. Holding him by the collar of his shirt, back to the scene of the crime. He kicked and hollered, tried to bargain with her for his life. But Tulip didn't want his stolen money. She wanted to be a hero to the people of the village. She wanted to earn their respect. She arrived back to the square, still in ice form. The man was cold from the rough, terrifying ride. The police had arrived and arrested the man. Tulip took liberty in icing the man's hands together. The police weren't just interested in the man, however. They were intrigued by Tulip's ice ability. "Put your hands up," one of them shouted. Tulip was confused. Hadn't she done something good? Tulip tilted her head to the side, looking at them confused. "He said, put your hands up," another shouted. This time Tulip knew she was being threatened and had to flee. She shot into the air using her ice powers and switched to lightning. She bolted off, scared, vexed, and puzzled. Hadn't she done something good? So why were they going to arrest her? She wasn't doing anything wrong, was she? Tulip shook the thoughts from her mind. They weren't important. Tulip decided to go away, as far as she could from the little town. She might even explore more of her abilities. She might even want to go see the world, like the plants had said back in the first meadow. The ocean came to mind, even though she didn't really know what the ocean was. But she decided she wanted to see it anyway. Tulip traveled far and as fast as she could, only occasionally stopping. She would see a nearby town to get directions to the coast, despite the nervousness of humans. She wasn't quite sure of compass directions yet, but she knew she would get there sooner or later. Tulip had finally grown weary. She had also grown hungry. She hadn't felt this way before, yet somehow she knew what she wanted to do about it. She landed near a small orchard. It was an orange orchard. It was lovely. There was a strong, luscious, delicious scent that hung in the air. It was almost breathtaking. Tulip attacked one of the oranges with a massive hunger. She loved the juiciness of them, the sweetness, the sourness too. She was at all by them. She was so in love with the oranges that she spun into the air, quite far in fact. She was so high in the air that she didn't come back down. Tulip didn't often breathe because she found she didn't have to since her body could absorb the air around her. But she did to smell the orange. The air felt thinner in her nose. Very thin at that. Has she not fallen to the ground yet? She hadn't opened her eyes since she sprung in the air, and she was a little scared to do so at that very moment, but she knew she had to if she wanted to see what was happening. So she opened one, then the other. She was just in thin air, just hovering. She felt a movement behind her, but she didn't react. Since she noticed her apparel had changed again. She wore soft brown pants and a feathery long turtleneck shirt. It was also white. She turned to look behind her. There was a set of wings fluttering away in the air behind her. Huh? She gasped. They were beautiful. They shined in the sun. They had smooth curls wrapping and twining within the wings. At the center was a leaf. She brushed her fingertips along her hair. Her hair was shorter and spiked diagonally. "Flight," the wind whispered to Tulip as it blew by. It was just like the flowers, gentle and kind. Tulip was thrilled and scared at the same time. She was just hovering mid-air, with nothing between her and the ground. Tulip moved to the left a little, then the right, forward, backwards. She even moved a little diagonally. Tulip started to move forward again, but slowly. She wanted to take her time, get used to flight. She was getting better at it quickly. as she had for her other forms. She moved this new form, but with caution. She wanted to know what she was capable of before she made the final decision. She also didn't want to fall to the ground. This is the end of Chapter 3. I hope you enjoyed this chapter. If you did, leave a comment down below letting me know what I could improve on. Otherwise, give this video a like. And subscribe if you're new. And I also hope to see you next week for Chapter 4. Have a good day.